Welcome everyone to this week's edition of Dollars with Sense. I am Terence Vanderwood here with my co-host Ella Lang.
Good day, everyone. Today, we're going to take you through the second part of this series where we show you the steps to find out, are you an entrepreneur?
During this episode, we will be using the questions and answers from a really great book that we have available not only to us, your two financial gurus, but there are also free copies available to you. The book is called Money and Youth, written by Gary Rabbior of the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education. This book is an awesome financial literary tool for all ages and is proudly sponsored by Investors Group. If you would like a free copy, please get in touch with us via email at twofinancialgurus@gmail.com. That's the number 2financialgurus@gmail.com. You can call us at 778-879-0820 or send us your request through our Facebook page, Dollars with Sense. And if you're listening to our podcast through our YouTube channel, you can leave us a request on the comment bar.
So you may or may not be familiar with the term entrepreneur. Even if you are, you may have some misconceptions of entrepreneurs, as there are many myths about them. For example, many believe that entrepreneurs only start up small business enterprises. Although many entrepreneurs set up and run small businesses, you can also apply entrepreneurial skills to other kinds of activities within companies, within government, running a non-for-profit organization, and so on. So let's take a closer look at entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship and whether or not it's an option of interest to you. We'll start with the second part of the quiz from Rabbior's book. That is questions 5, 6, and 7, and then follow up each question with the answer. We'll then tally them up again at the end of this episode and combine them with the answers from part 1 of this series. The goal is to help you determine if becoming an entrepreneur is this burning desire of yours, just waiting to be unleashed.
Yes, we will unleash it. Okay, let's get started with the first question of the second part of the series. Are you an entrepreneur? That's question number 5 in Rabbior's book, Money and Youth. Here it is. If given the chance to earn a substantial reward, which of the following would entrepreneurs be most likely to do? A, roll the dice with a 1 in 3 chance of winning. B, work on a problem with a 1 in 3 chance of solving it in the time given. Or C, do neither A nor B because the chances of success are so small. What is the answer, my fellow financial guru?
The entrepreneur is thought of as a risk taker. There are many risks involved in entrepreneurial activity, but psychological testing of entrepreneurs has indicated that they are no more motivated to do something that involves risk than anyone else. They're not daredevils or reckless gamblers. Successful entrepreneurs are very good at assessing the amount of risk involved in a venture and will choose to accept that risk if they feel their personal chances for success are relatively high. They may well choose to do something when the odds of success are only 1 in 3 if they believe they have the abilities and experience needed to succeed. So, the entrepreneur would most likely choose B, to work on the problem, even though rolling dice is obviously less work. Entrepreneurs avoid situations where the results depend mainly on chance or the efforts of others. The opportunity for personal achievement is more important than the size of the reward offered.
So, when thinking of yourself on this aspect, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not usually and 5 being yes always, where do you rate yourself when you ask these questions? Are you A, a risk avoider, B, a high risk taker, and C, a calculated moderate risk taker?
Well, when it comes to financial planning and where the entrepreneur will put their long-term savings, their risk level will also tend to be on the moderate side. That is, if they have savings. I remember hearing an interview from the famous Tony Robbins, whose most recent book recommends something that goes against the grain of conventional practices of entrepreneurs. Generally, it's considered par for the course to take any profit you receive from a business venture and insert it back into the company. This practice is inherently a very risky proposal because it's opposite to what all those who are wealthy have in common. They are diversified.
Another way to express this is commonly referred to as putting all your eggs in one basket. As an entrepreneur, the danger for this is even greater due to the drive of wanting to reach one's goals. The danger with putting all your financial eggs into your current basket is that if one of many thousands of things that can cause a young, fragile project or venture to fail happens, and all your hard-earned profit will disappear with the project. It is always recommended that even as a startup company and an entrepreneur, you set aside savings for short and long term outside of the business or the venture. This will ensure that some of your hard-earned profit is protected for long-term growth.
Our next question, number 6 in the Money and Youth book, asks, the entrepreneur is most likely to choose a task, A, which involves a moderate level of risk, but is still challenging, B, where the risks are high, but the financial rewards are also very great, or C, which is relatively easy and the risks low.
Entrepreneurs tend to be positive, optimistic types who focus their attention on their chances of success rather than their chances of failure. Individuals who fear failure tend to select tasks that are either very easy or where the risk is very high. By selecting an easy task, the chances of failure are reduced. By selecting a task with little chance of success, failure can be rationalized. Oh well, it was just a long shot anyways, for example. The entrepreneur avoids both extremes and selects those tasks that are challenging, but where the opportunities for success are reasonably good. The best choice is A, involving a moderate level of risk, but still challenging.
So when thinking of yourself on this aspect, on a scale of optimism, with 1 being a pessimist and 5 being an optimist, where do you rate yourself? I would say that for me, there's always a silver lining no matter how grave the situation. Mistakes are merely learning opportunities, and failure have great lessons in how to deal with common situations differently so the outcome is changed. I would say that in this scale, I would be 4. So not quite a 5, but everyone has to have a bad day every once in a while. It's what makes the really good ones stand out even more.
Even more, that's right. As we mentioned at the beginning, this book we're drawing from is called Money and Youth, written by Gary Rabbior of the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education. This book is an awesome financial literary tool for all ages and is proudly sponsored by Investors Group. If you would like a free copy, please get in touch with us via email at twofinancialgurus@gmail.com, or you can call us at 778-879-0820. Send us a request through our Facebook page, Dollars with Cents, or you can go to our YouTube channel, type in Ella and Terence into the search bar, and you can leave us a request on the comment bar. Okay, question number 7. Money is important to entrepreneurs because A, it allows them to develop other ideas and take advantage of other opportunities. B, monetary measurements provide an objective measure of how successful they have been. Or C, the main reason they accept the risks of starting a new venture was to accumulate personal wealth.
It's a popular misconception that entrepreneurs are, at heart, greedy individuals who enter into ventures for the purpose of accumulating personal wealth. Such a description would be more aptly applied to some promoter who's a fast buck artist. Entrepreneurs are driven to build a venture rather than simply to get in and out in a hurry with someone else's money. They will enjoy the benefits of a higher income, but will usually spend only a portion of their gain on personal consumption. Entrepreneurs are primarily interested in the creation, not the consumption of wealth.
So what motivates you most? Here's a question for yourself. The desire to make money or the desire to accomplish your goals and make a difference? With the answer to those questions, this brings us to the end of our quiz, which we will tally up the answers in a moment. But first, there are a few more definitions and thoughts we'd like to discuss to make sure that you are clear whether you are an entrepreneur or not.
So what is entrepreneurship? This statement provides one definition. Entrepreneurship involves the recognition of opportunities, that's needs, wants, and problems, and the use of resources to pursue an idea for a new, thoughtfully planned venture. Does that describe something that interests you? Might you be a prospective entrepreneur?
Next, let's consider what an entrepreneur actually does. It sounds simple to say, starts and builds a business, but the reality is far from simple. One way to consider what an entrepreneur does is via the Entrepreneur's Dozen, or the 12 steps in entrepreneurial or enterprising activity. If you look at your screen now at the podcast, you'll see the image come up and we'll read along with that. An entrepreneur, 1, examines needs, wants, and problems for which she feels something can be done to improve the way things are. 2, narrows the possible opportunities down to one specific opportunity. 3, thinks of an innovative idea. 4, this is step number 4, researches the opportunity and idea thoroughly. Step number 5, enlists the best sources of advice and assistance that can be found. 6, plans the venture and looks for possible problems that might arise. 7, ranks the risks and the possible rewards. 8, evaluates the risk and possible rewards and makes a decision. 9, never hangs onto an idea as much as it is loved if research shows it is not likely to work. 10, employs the resources necessary for a venture if the decision is made to go ahead. 11, understands that an entrepreneurial venture will take a great deal of long, hard work. Finally, number 12, realizes a sense of accomplishment from successful ventures and learns from them.
I like the way Gary set this up to spell entrepreneur. Very, very clever.
Very clever.
There are also contributions of entrepreneurs to society that have a great impact that may not be financially measurable. In addition to your own personal interest, everyone should probably know something about the contributions entrepreneurs make. Even if you never become an entrepreneur, you will probably have the opportunity to interact with a great many.
In our society, entrepreneurs with their adventures may create new ventures that provide new, improved products and services, find new ways of making products and services available to more people, compete with each other to be the best, quote unquote, which improves the quality of goods and services and keeps prices down. They also create jobs for others in the community through the new ventures they create, increase the quantity of products and services we produce in our economy. That is, help us achieve economic growth by creating new ventures. And finally, create new opportunities for others through their initiatives and innovations.
Let's not forget, though, they also provide a spirit of energy, initiative, and potential for progress to a community.
Yes.
Can you think of others? Do these spark an interest? Do they motivate you? To help you consider the entrepreneurship option, it would probably be helpful to review some of the key characteristics and skills associated with entrepreneurship. One important point to note is that it's possible for virtually anyone to develop and apply entrepreneurial or enterprising skills. You can also be an entrepreneur by starting with or running an entrepreneurial not-for-profit company or a government department. You don't have to set up and run your own business to be entrepreneurial or enterprising.
You can be an enterprising employee. You can even apply many enterprising skills in the home or to how you run a sports team or an acting company, or the list goes on and on. So while entrepreneurs look to start and build successful businesses, entrepreneurial or enterprising skills can be developed and applied by virtually anyone and applied to any kind of endeavor.
If I may add here that a challenge entrepreneurs often have is to consistently fuel that motivation they need to keep up the self-confidence that they want to show and exude. And passion for one's work certainly goes a long way, but what helped me a lot at the beginning of my entrepreneurial endeavor was a business coach. Much like an athlete training for a particular race or marathon, it's a good idea to align yourself with a professional coach who can keep tabs on your level of energy, hold you accountable to your goals, remind you how great your work is, keep you focused. So there are loads of certified coaches out there who are ready to help you. Make one part of your team or your professional team that we were talking about earlier. You can certainly contact us for a few referrals. Now let's take all 7 of your answers from the last week and this week and add up the numbers. We will repeat the questions here, so if you haven't been writing them down, you can grab a pen and paper and do so now. Question 1. Are you an independent, self-reliant person? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not very and 5 being yes, very.
Question number 2. Do you tend to compete with yourself? Do you continuously try and do better? Are you more focused on doing your personal best and competing with others? Again, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not usually and 5 being yes, always.
Question 3. Are you motivated by a desire to set and achieve goals and objectives? Do you get a strong sense of personal satisfaction when you accomplish something? Does it motivate you to want to do more? Check into your scale, 1 to 5, with being not usually and 5 being yes, always.
Question number 4. What is your level of self-confidence and self-efficacy? On a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not really and 5 being yes, really, rate yourself to this question. If you're not sure what self-efficacy is, please refer to our YouTube channel where you go into the search bar and punch in Ella and Terence, and it will be in episode 30 under part 1 of Are You an Entrepreneur?
Question 5, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not usually, 5 being yes, always, where do you rate yourself when asked, are you a risk avoider, B, a high risk taker, or a calculated, moderate risk taker?
What kind of risk taker are you? Okay, question number 6. How optimistic of a person are you? With 1 being a pessimist and 5 being an optimist.
Finally, question 7, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being not motivated and 5 being very motivated. What motivates you most? The desire to make money or the desire to accomplish your goals and make a difference? Once you have answered all these questions, add up your total score and divide it by 7, and you will have your answer for this broadcast called Are You an Entrepreneur?
Now, you all might be wondering what the heck entrepreneurship has to do with financial planning. Well, here's a few statistics for you. 97.9% of all Canadian businesses have less than 10 employees and are considered small businesses. This represents 1.14 million entrepreneurs that are more than just the backbone of the Canadian economy. Entrepreneurs are the ones who make the dollars and have the sense to be successful with their companies. Sadly, most do not consider saving for themselves or outside of their companies and put themselves into a risky financial position, as we said before. An integral part of your team is the experts you surround yourself with, and a great financial planner is a vital element of your personal and business success.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us, as we always love to hear your feedback and questions. You can contact us in multiple ways. As we've mentioned before, email to financialgurus@gmail.com is our address. Our phone number is 778-879-0820. Look at all our episodes by searching Ella and Terence on the YouTube search bar. And of course, our Facebook page is titled Dollars with Sense, so that'll be super easy to find. And definitely give us some comments.
We'd also like to thank the Tri-City Chambers for their support and helping to get this show on the radio waves at 98.7 The Point on the FM dial every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. All the folks at both of these great institutions help make the entrepreneurial world a little more manageable and a little less worrisome for all the Tri-City businesses that are members of this dynamic chamber. Please join us next week when we bring to you our next topic around financial planning. Don't miss it. On behalf of Ella and I, have yourself a productive week, and may your dollars and cents be with you.